leaders are now at a place of change. And the change place is this, that the choice, Generation Y, the millennials, enter the workforce 2015 at the greatest number in the history of the industrial world. They don't trust big business. We have a problem. What you should know is at the upper end of that generation, they are now in the 30 to 35 age group, which means they are the new emerging leaders. We can't do leadership the way we've done it with this generation. But remember, people were looking for a good job to keep a career for 40 years? Do you remember that? Yeah. It's done. Saying that to a millennial, like, you know, what are you going to do for your 40-year career, your 30-year career, 20-year career? They look at you like you're mental. Like you've had some kind of accident and you've got some kind of brain damage. Maybe you fell off a mountain or something. That's how they look at you. You might as well say to them, hey, do you want to buy my 8-track cassette? Now, for those of you who are millennials, Google that when you get home. Okay. The average lifespan of a millennial in the workforce in a particular organization, so they come into your organization, the lifespan is 1.2 years. 1.2 years. The average company will invest 1.5 to 2 times the annual salary in the development of that individual. They're gone in 1.2 years, and you've already invested twice as much as they earn in 1 year. Their work. This is a horrendous cost. We cannot do leadership the way we've done it. We have to do something else. We have to generate loyalty with these people. But how are we going to do it? There is a way to generate fierce loyalty in millennials and in Generation X's and baby boomers too. It's very different than anything that's been done before. I want to give you 5 key elements of what it takes to build a culture, a momentum culture that is focused on fierce loyalty, that generates fierce loyalty. Here's the 5 elements. Number 1, the work is meaningful. Meaning that the the organization is purpose-driven. That there's a higher purpose to this organization. It's not just about the money. There's something else. There's community involved. There's communication involved. There's working with the environment, working with the community, working with other things than just the profit. There's some higher purpose to the organization. Number 1, in generating fierce loyalty in your organization. Another thing, second thing, in order to have a culture that generates fierce loyalty, you must have authentic leaders. Not just leader, not just CEO, leaders. C-suite, management, authenticity, authentic leaders. Open, vulnerable communication. Authentic leaders who not only are authentic, but they deeply believe in the mission and the purpose and the vision of that organization. Third thing ties directly to that, which is that there must be open, vulnerable communication going on. That's got to be going on. There has to be a safe place for people emotionally to speak. Here's what the research shows. The currency of today. Do you know what the currency of today is, by the way? Does anybody know what the currency of today is? Because we think it's money, but it's not. Do you know what the real currency of today is? Time? Knowledge? Close. Information. Information is what the real currency is. And information, it's not just about recycled information, but innovative information. Innovative information. Here's what the research shows. That people who work in an environment where they feel emotionally safe are far more innovative. They're worth so much more to you as a leader in your organization if they're emotionally safe, because they'll be innovative. If they're not emotionally safe, innovation goes out of the window. It goes out of the window. So there has to be an emotionally safe place for open, vulnerable communication. Fourth, it has to be an environment that facilitates growth, development, mastery. The person has the opportunity to grow, develop themselves, and get mastery in whatever it is that they want mastery in, while facilitating autonomy. In other words, that nobody's doing the big micromanaging over the top of their shoulder, that they're giving them the room, they're respecting them, they're believing that you are a leader and I'm going to trust you as a leader. And this is what full Monty leadership is all about. It's about breeding leaders inside your organization so that everybody's a leader, even if it's just a leader of self, so they can be innovative. That's the fourth thing. The fifth thing is this. The fifth thing that generates a fierce loyalty culture is a full Monty story. How many of you saw the movie Full Monty? So you know it's about a bunch of guys who are broke and decide to become strippers. You all know that, right? Guys who really should never have taken their clothes off in their lives in front of people, but they do that. It's a funny movie. It's a great movie. And this is called Full Monty leadership, not because you need to show up in the boardroom and strip off. Not your clothes, at least. But metaphorically, it is. It's about taking off the armor, taking off the image, and showing up and being real. And a full Monty story is a story that reveals the company. It's a story about who this company is that endears people to it, that doesn't just give rhetoric to what the purpose and the mission of the company is, but is a revealing story that people can emotionally bond to and want to bond to and connect to at a personal level for them. Those are the 5 elements that generate a culture of fierce loyalty. Now, imagine that you have an organization where there is those 5 elements, where there is emotional safety, where people can communicate and be innovative. Imagine the impact of that. Imagine how much value that would bring to your company. Imagine an environment where the leaders are all deeply tied to the full Monty story of that organization. And what's more is that they've learned how to connect their own story, because we all have a story. Yes, you all have a story. And connect your own story. This is about building fierce loyalty in your organization. Fierce loyalty in your customers, fierce loyalty in your people. Vulnerability is power. Thank you.